amazing covers! Today I'm going to be doing a book review on We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. It's going to contain spoilers, so if you haven't read the book, I recommend you go read it, although you'll probably want to throw the book out of the window like I've wanted to. This book is one of the most frustrating things I have ever read, and I am so happy that I finished it. It's a contemporary book, there is some romance in it, there is a lot of mystery. It's all about this group of 4 kids. 3 cousins and one of their cousins' friends. There's Cadence, Mirren, Johnny and Gat, and they are all Sinclairs apart from Gat. He's just kind of tagging along. And it's all set on this island that Grandpa Sinclair owns, and he has 3 daughters, and then they have the offspring, who are the 4 liars, and then the littles, who are the younger siblings of Johnny and Mirren. And it's all about their summers together, and it's this mystery about this accident that happened. Inside of the book you get a map of Sinclair's island. It basically tells you where all the houses are and who lives in what house, because at the beginning it is very confusing because he keeps jumping about and telling you who lives with who and who's related to who. They're all related, but like who's like a son and daughter of who, and it can get a little bit confusing, so referring to the map is quite handy. It also has a Sinclair family tree. Harris and Tipper, who are the granddad and grandma. Then you have the 3 children, who are Carrie, Bess and Penny, and then their children, Johnny, who is a liar, and Will, who is a little, Mirren, a liar, Bonnie and Liberty and Taft, who are littles, and Cadence, who is a liar. And Johnny's mum, Carrie, okay, this is where it gets confusing. Johnny's mum, Carrie, is dating this guy called Ed, and Ed's nephew is Gat, another one of the liars. They just spend all of their summer on the island together, one big, non-happy family. Hardback has a better blurb than the paperback, because it actually like describes the book a bit more, but when you actually read the book and then you reread the blurb afterwards, it all makes sense to you. We are liars, we are beautiful and privileged, we are cracked and broken, a tale of love and romance, a tale of tragedy. Which are lies, which is truth? You decide. I hate reading blurbs because they give away too much of the story, but unless you have read the story, this won't give it away. About 10-20 pages into the story, I guessed what the ending was. But because the title is We Were Liars, I was like, that's not the ending, it's probably just my mind thinking it. Turns out it was true, but I dismissed it way too soon. The structure of this book is kind of weird. The chapters don't start at the top of the page, they start like somewhere stupid. Some things that you never get explained in the book. Why they're called the liars, right? I understand that they are all liars in the end. Why are the 4 of them specifically called the liars? I understand why the littles are called the littles, they are the younger siblings, but why the hell are they called the liars? You never understand. There's a bit which really confused me. This is chapter 2, page 5. Cadence's dad is leaving her and her mum, and it says, "Then he pulled out a handgun and shot me in the chest. I was standing on the lawn and I fell. The bullet hole opened wide and my heart rolled out of my ribcage and down into the flower bed. Blood gushed rhythmically from my open wound, then from my eyes, my ears, my mouth. It tasted like salt and failure." Now, originally, I thought that this book was going to be about how her dad got to the point where he was going to shoot her. But it turns out it's just a metaphor. Mummy snapped. She said to get hold of myself. "Be normal now," she said. "Right now. Because you are, because you can be. Don't cause a scene," she told me. "Breathe and sit up." I did what she asked. She was all I had left. Then we went indoors. Great metaphor, thank you, but now I'm like confused about what the story's gonna be. And that was why I kind of dismissed my theory so early on. Because I was like, well, if they're dead, then they can't be dead. Because Cadence already died, but it was just a metaphor. We had been in the attic before, also we had never been in the attic before. Does that mean you and Gat have been in there separately, and this is the first time you're going in together? Or what the hell are you saying, Cadence? We have been here before. Also, we have never been here before. Seriously, you and Gat, sort your lives out. Insensitive, Gat's dead. It tells, like, variations of a Once Upon a Time story. Read them and you hear echoes of one story inside another. I like how this does it, right? It sets it so that it kind of gives away subtle hints to her own family life, and it reveals details about the Sinclairs. Like, this rich family with all this money and all these, like, secrets, but they're putting on this disguise to people. The first one is about who should inherit it, and it explains how, like, they're all arguing for their dad's approval. The 3 children of Grandpa Sinclair are just trying to get all of his money when he dies. Once upon a time there was a king with 3 beautiful daughters. One by one they all get eaten by a dragon. It says, "Now let me ask you this, who killed the girls, the dragon or their father?" Because their father was the one who sent them off to try and, like, tame the dragon. I like how Gat is described as Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights. He's trying to steal Cadence and her heart and, like, corrupt the family and turn into this monster, when it's actually Cadence who turns into the monster in the end, destroying the family. Once Upon a Time stories start to revolve around Gat. Because Gat is Indian, he's of Indian heritage, he's not white. Grandpa Sinclair is a little bit racist. He won't outright say he's racist, needs to keep up appearances, but he is racist. Instead of calling Gat by his name, he calls him young man. The Once Upon a Time story is basically that Gat is a mouse, and Johnny is seen as this beautiful specimen of a true prince. He looks like a Sinclair, he is athletic, he is tall, he is beautiful. Gat is just a mouse, he's insignificant. Treat them equally! The Once Upon a Time story that really tore my heart out is the second to last one on page 196. Cadence describes herself as a witch who basically lured the rest of the liars into like this false sense of security because they all had special powers and she felt like the outsider. And then she made them all, like, burn down the house. Let me get into this, like, burning down of the house thing. How stupid are you? It does not take 4 people to start a fire. You do not need to all be on a different level of the frickin' house, okay? Also, Cadence, where the hell was your brain, right? If you know there are 2 people upstairs and Gat in the basement, why do you then start the fire in the study, which will spread through the entire of the ground floor of the house, where everybody's trying to escape? Stupid! Right? There are better ways to burn down a house, and I understand it's like cleansing, and it's like a spiritual rebirth or whatever, and it's trying to bring the family closer together, and maybe they'll all love Gat in the end. But to tear apart the family by being really stupid and setting alight to the 3 liars, if I was going to start a fire, I'd make sure that everybody else was out. Like, why did they not have, like, a code of, like, Mirren's gonna shout down when she's poured the gasoline everywhere and set fire, and then Johnny will, and then Gat will, and then Cadence sets fire to the ground floor, and then they all leave through the kitchen. And why spend all that time running around after them, right, when you know damn well that if they haven't gone past you to leave the house, they haven't got out of the frickin' house? What do you think they were gonna do? Jump from the 3rd story frickin' windows? No! And how do you think Gat got out of the basement? The only way out is to go past you! Oh my gosh, this book is so freaking annoying. There is one bit I love though. At the beginning, she introduces herself. Welcome to the beautiful Sinclair family. No one is a criminal, no one is an addict, no one is a failure. But then she reintroduces herself at the end of the book. My full name is Cadence Sinclair Eastman, and contrary to the expectations of the beautiful family in which I was raised, I am an arsonist, a visionary, a heroine, a rebel. The kind of person who changes history, a criminal. But if I am a criminal, am I then an addict? Am I then a failure? I guess that they were all dead at the beginning. That was why she couldn't remember the accident, because it was like a traumatic experience and your brain blocks it out. Every time they revealed a new piece of information about the accident, it kept coming back to me and I was like, no, they can't all be dead. But now it makes sense, because that's why Johnny's mum was crying and going on walks wearing his windbreaker. That's why Grandpa Sinclair kept calling Cadence Mirren because he missed her and he kept getting them confused because they look similar.
Hi!
Hi!
I want the music.
Okay, I'll come do it in a minute. Can I finish this?
I want to
Amelia! Can you not?
Hello!
And then when you go back and you read through it and it's like, that's why the liars couldn't tell Cadence what happened in the accident, because they weren't actually there, and it's whether it's like this whole question. Now you've got my sister. It brings up this whole question of, are they ghosts or are they just hallucinations? And if you believe that they're hallucinations, that's fine, because Cadence did go a bit crazy after the accident. That doesn't explain how the envelope of beach flowers that Gat gave Cadence got there, because if he was dead, did she zone out and go get them? Or, like, are they all ghosts? Is that why, like, Mirren was getting so ill towards the end? Because she couldn't physically hang on to reality? Like, she needed to move on. Cadence was slowly, subconsciously coming to terms with their death without actually realising they were dead yet, and that's why she just kind of let it all go. How did, like, all of the tea bags and the party strings up in Cuddle Down get there if they were all hallucinations? Like, Cadence didn't do that all herself, because most of the time the liars, like, took off and wouldn't, like, be with her. And, like, they all did their own stuff. And I don't understand it. Gat and Cadence still got their love story even though Gat was dead, and, like, she had to come to terms with that in the end. But it was so beautiful the way they just all went out into the sea, because that was the way that Cadence said she wanted to go. She said when she died she wanted her ashes scattered in the sea on the little beach, and then they all just, like, she just lets them walk out into the ocean and just disappear. And she says, and then they dive or something, and then they're gone. I am left There on the southern tip of Beechwood Island, I am on a tiny beach alone. We are liars. Not the 4 liars. The entire Sinclair family are liars. They're lying to themselves about their own happiness. Lying to Cadence about the accident. Cadence is lying to herself by forgetting about the accident. We are beautiful and privileged. They are. We are cracked and broken. They are a broken family after the fire. We're always broken, and this fire brought them together, brought them closer, because they all had a common loss. Tale of love and romance, the love that the liars shared, the love that Gat and Cadence shared, the love that was there between Grandpa Sinclair and his daughters, but also kind of wasn't there, because they were all just fighting for his inheritance. A tale of tragedy, the fire was tragic. Which are lies, which is the truth? You decide. You go through the entire book not knowing who's telling the truth and who's lying. I think it is beautifully written, it is an awesome book, but it's so annoying, and I hate it. The plot is stupid, but it's stupidly lovely and stupidly addictive and stupidly hard to put down and stupidly gripping. I don't even want it on my bookcase right now because I don't want to be able to see it. Honestly, if you want to read a book that will give you the urge to throw it out the window as soon as you are done with it, go ahead, read it. I sighed incredibly loud when I read that they were all actually dead and they perished in the fire. Did they know she was talking to ghosts? Did they just let it go because keep up appearances, act normal? Or are they all just a bit psycho? Still though, having said all that, I would recommend this book to a friend. Recommend this book to anybody if they haven't read it. Like, I can't believe it's taken me this long to read it because it's fantastic. Anyway, I'm gonna go because I want to stop talking about this book so I can just get it out of my freaking life. I'm ripping them all out the book. They're going. Say goodbye to the post-it notes of death. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe for more book madness, and I'll see you soon. Bye! Piece of shit. I'm not even sorry.